Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video. So, the Scholomance expansion has dropped, and this is the first deck that I played on day one of the expansion. Knoepklapper's Taunt Druid. Some of you will look at this deck and say, it's a meme deck. Well, it's a greedy deck for sure, and there is a slight meme element to it, which makes it really fun. But when it wins, it is spectacular. There are two new cards from the Hearthstone expansion that are significant here. First of all, Vectus. So, Battle Cry. Summon 2/1/1 whelps. Each gains a death rattle from your minions that died this game. So there is some death rattle synergy here. Hadronox, Scrapyard Colossus. Those are the minions that need to have been killed off. Of course, they have to have died, so Vectus can be a dead card in your hand for a few turns. Worth noting that. Lightning Bloom. Cost 0, gain 2 mana crystals this turn only. Overload for 2. Who cares about the overload effect? But the gaining 2 mana crystals is truly significant, allowing you to cheat out big minions, cheat out spells that you otherwise would not have had a chance to play on that turn. Can either help you survive, can help you gain initiative on the board, whatever it is. I think it's pretty broken. How broken it is? Well, time will tell. Other cool things in this deck, Naturalize and the Hadronox combo, pretty sweet, N'Zoth the Corruptor, just in case you need a little bit more value. And a card that I think is quite underestimated in this deck, Winged Guardian, cannot be targeted by enemy spells or hero powers. It's a 6/8 taunt with Reborn. With there being a lot of mages out there, a lot of Reno priests, who will try and target minions individually, having a minion that cannot be targeted, I think, is pretty handy. So let's have a look at this deck in action on the Wild Mode ladder. 3 different games, starting out against a mage.
You asked for it.
Here for a lesson?
Okay, so Vectus is in hand. We're going to get rid of him. 2 Lightning Blooms. Gonna mulligan away one of them. I actually don't know if this is correct or not. Because on reflection, I'm thinking now that having 2 Lightning Blooms would allow me to play Ziliax on turn 1, right? Because we gain 4 mana crystals. But is that even good?
Hello.
Is that even good? I think it depends on our opponent. I'd rather use Ziliax to rush into something, right? Rather than just playing it on an empty board. But we have a lot of ramp in our hand. It's just a question of timing.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Mad Scientist, fair enough. Coin Jade Blossom, I think is the play. Or should I already have used Lightning Bloom and Jade Blossom previously? Was that even good? I don't think that's even good. At least here we're not overloaded, so we can play the Overgrowth next turn. And that seems fine.
I'll show them all.
Or actually, Oaken Summons is just better.
Like a fungus.
Sadly, we did not get Oaken Summons into Behold, Vargoth. We got Oaken Summons into the Satyr, which is still very good. Vargoth would have meant more armor, though, because it would have recast the spell. The Satyr, this changes things somewhat, because I was thinking of Lightning Bloom and Colossus, right? But now we have the Satyr in play. We don't need the Lightning Bloom for the Colossus later down the line. I think this turn now, turn 5, we can play the Lightning Bloom, the Overgrowth, and the Jade Blossom. Get it all out there. Get all the ramp. Now, why is this important? Well, it's bringing us closer to 10 mana, which makes one of the scrapyards in hand playable. I suspect that the Satyr will hit one of the scrapyards because it's a 2 in 3 chance. Or the Satyr hits the Ziliax and we get a Ziliax for 0. Which is also not bad. He can kill the 2-3. No, we get the discount on the Colossus. That's absolutely fine. I'd rather play the Colossus here than the Ziliax. And I think we have to do some trading. I'd rather trade with the minions, not with my face. I want to preserve the health total. I'm still very much aware that this is a Secrets Mage that can have a lot of burst damage, potentially over 2 or 3 turns. Particularly with Alaneth on 6. They're going to draw all of that burst damage, right? Very, very quickly.
Like a fungus.
Unity, precision, perfection.
How wasteful.
And that was a terrible misplay on my part. Should have tested for the Flame Ward first before playing the Ziliax. Really bad misplay, quite disappointed. But when you're preoccupied, when you're playing a new deck and you're thinking about other things, sometimes you miss basic plays.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Now looking at my hand, I don't think his minions are going to be able to hit my face for the duration of what remains in this game. Of time that remains in this game. I think that we're just going to be able to build a substantial enough wall that we just have to worry about spells from hand bursting us down.
How wasteful.
This time, we will test for Flame Ward. And we're going to play Vectus. We will only get the benefit of Vectus's battle cry on one of the whelps. That's absolutely fine. You only need value on one of them, really. It's still good, right? To get the scrapyard body out on the board, the 7/7 body.
Amazing.
If it was Flame Ward,
have many.
maybe I should have played the Vectus first, so it triggers the death rattle and we get the 7/7 body. That's worth thinking about. So our opponent here playing out as much as he can. He does have the Christmas tree, which is pretty cute. It's been a while since I've seen a Christmas tree. Makes me think about Secrets Paladin from back in the day. So anyway, we can pop the block on this turn, I think. Even if it's Flame Ward. Do we care about the board?
How wasteful.
It's not Flame Ward. Interesting. So, we could trade the Whelp into the 2-1. See, it doesn't matter what health total we pop in that, to be honest. There's often an obsession with popping the mage at 1, right? Getting them down to 1, popping the block there. I don't think it even matters. Given what is on board, given what we have in hand. And I think we can test for the counter spell here. Explosive Runes is absolutely fine. So I don't think there's anything from hand that can burst us down at this health total.
You're not ready for
And no potential new cards from the expansion that can ruin our day here. So this is an example of where this deck works out very well.
Played.
I'm late.
Look at that board presence.
We will shape
It's
this
substantial, but yeah, we pop the block, we win the game.
aggressively done.
Ooh, and there's a friend request.
Bark versus Jaina.
Alright, our next game is against another mage.
Listen.
Now, I did make friends with my previous opponent, and is a super cool, chilled out dude, honestly. Those are the kind of friends that you want to make in Hearthstone, right? Not the people who send you a friend request after you win and then berate you, insult you, wish death upon you, wish hate and malice upon you. Those are not the kind of people that you want to make friends with. But no, happy to report that the mage player that I faced in that first game is a super cool dude.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
And this appears to be another secrets mage. How interesting. How very interesting.
An incredible.
But cheating out the satyr, I think it's pretty good. 5 cost Colossus, which after the ramp we'll play next turn. So far, so good. Also like the inclusion of the Lich King in this deck. It's been a while since I've experienced full value from the Lich King. I do remember a time in Hearthstone when the Lich King was played in so many decks. Now you don't see him much at all.
We have many secrets.
He makes a rare appearance from time to time, but he's not a common card anymore. So, Flame Ward, maybe? No Flame Ward, sure. So we're getting close to 8 mana. That will probably be our Lich King play. Ooh, a bit of a glitch going on here. I have noticed that if I keep Hearthstone going for more than 2 or 3 hours, or more than an hour actually, the game starts to glitch out a bit. And I'm playing this game on a high-end gaming PC, or at least what was a high-end gaming PC last year. So probably not so high-end anymore, but still, substantial CPU, substantial RAM, excellent graphics card. And yet a game that is not very graphics intensive seems to cause my PC to stutter a little bit.
I must.
The problem is more significant in Battlegrounds for sure, and I find that on the iPad and the PC now. Whereas before it just used to be an iPad problem or a mobile problem, now I'm getting this freezing, stuttering on this computer, and it's not my computer. It's the game. That much I have sussed out.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Anyway, the Lich King. That could be interesting if we play it. Get out a few big threats onto the board. Get out a couple of Winged Guardians, maybe. But I don't see how we lose this game now. Our health total is too high. Scrapyard will be coming down soon enough.
I'm late. I'm late.
Ooh. Although,
I'll show them.
that's pretty significant. That's going to be a problem for him. I was pondering the trade there because there was no lethal, but yeah, game over.
Vilbark versus James.
Alright, final game with this deck
You asked for it.
is a mage again. Well, it really is a mage meta at the moment, isn't it? Not sure about my mulligan. But anyway, whatever. We have ramp. That's important. It's quest mage. Jolly good. So, ramp into ramp seems reasonable. Dollmaster Dorian in this deck. We didn't talk about that before. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Pretty nuts if you get the Colossus. Or Hadronox for that matter, depending on the situation. Could Ziliax here, but I think ramping is just better. We leave the 2/2 up.
Someday I'll be just like you.
But that Sorcerer's Apprentice, that's the Ziliax target. And he thinks it's safe because he's given it a buff. 3 health. Yeah, it's out of range of the hero power and the trade from the 1/1.
Delightful.
But the Ziliax is going to be significant, but oh my goodness. This is just ridiculous, right?
Delightful.
And we have to emote because it's just quest mage doing quest mage things. What turn will he complete the quest on? Probably next turn? Well, we'll kill the apprentice. Maybe not next turn now, but maybe in 2 turns he'll complete his quest. Oh dear lord. Anyway. Is there any point in the Lightning Bloom? I don't think so. Not on this turn. What could we have done with that? We could have put out Dorian. Not sure what that would have done. At this point in the game.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Yeah. He would have played Zephyrus
Delightful.
and then dealt with Dorian. It wouldn't have survived.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Well, that's a board. That's a board. But that's a card that deals with something on the board. Do we just play Dorian here?
This one turned out nice.
And we can draw cards with branching paths. Test for the counter spell. It's not counter spell. That's not helpful. Try again. That's okay. He can't ping it. I mean, that's something. I really wanted the Scrapyard Colossus from Dorian. But fine. We can utilize Vargoth
On me, I'm certified.
and Witching Hour to get 2 of those Winged Guardians back. Not being able to ping, having to trade with your board, I think is really, really crucial, really substantial. It's why I think Winged Guardian is so good in this deck. Especially if it can be cheated out. So we could just play one from hand here, or we could Vargoth
Free of that blasted
and Witching Hour. I think this is better. Behold! This just gets us more board presence. And is just going to be really, really annoying for him to deal with. Unfortunately, N'Zoth value is severely lacking at this point. But it's fine. We'll get to the scrapyards eventually. For now, successive turns of playing the Wingardium just seems pretty good. Quest completion. This is now scary. So, turn 7 quest completion, not bad. I think the question is, does he have his giants? That's the question. Oh, that is absolutely painful. So, question. Should I have thrown Vargoth in first? What is more valuable? Vargoth or the Guardians? There are no spells in hand that Vargoth can help us with in terms of doubling up the effects, so maybe I should have thrown Vargoth into the Vaporize. I don't know. The board is still pretty substantial. And we have another Wingardium to come. Okay, board is a little bit less substantial now. That's big. I think we just play it. And now we're just close to killing him. And if he does play Time Warp, and he has a couple of giants, in theory we still live because of these reborn taunts that can't be targeted individually with spells or hero powers. Wingardium, I think, really proving its worth in this deck in this particular game. Kazakus could solve his problem if he gets Mystic Wool. Then we're screwed.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Nature's true power.
Interesting. What does Oaken Summons do? Doesn't do enough. Pop the block. Do we care about the mad scientist? Sure, whatever. May as well kill it. There are no secrets left. So, a wall of taunts. Do your best with Time Warp.
The future is ours.
Oh, giant number 1.
Behold the tools of creation.
Of course it's the right way.
There it is. Do you have another giant? Do you have Reno Jackson? Ooh, how interesting.
Behold the tools of creation.
Oh, wow. So he's going to be able to clear a chunk of this board. But look at our health total. And look at what we've just drawn. You know, this feels like we're bullying the mage, honestly. For a deck that is certainly an off-meta deck, it is not performing too badly at all. I guess we want to trade the 3/3 into the giant. Keep the taunts healthy. Although Time Warp is gone now, what are we so afraid of, honestly? What can he do that could cause us to lose this game?
A simple spell should do.
I guess we want to make sure we kill off the scrapyard, maybe. Just to ensure we get N'Zoth value. Oh, another giant.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Ha! Frozen clone. Oh, that's hilarious.
Pile of scrap.
The thing is, I don't think he's going to have the time to play the Lich King. Or both Lich Kings.
We're gonna have some fun.
Well, that didn't do very much. Okay, well, you can ping the Lich King. There's still Scrapyard on the board. And there's still a Winged Guardian that he can't target. With hero powers. Or Ray of Frost. So. Do we just play N'Zoth? Or do we wait for that Scrapyard to die? Does it matter that we don't get full value? I will wait. He may suspect that we have N'Zoth in his deck. He may even think it's in hand. He may be reluctant to kill the Scrapyard for this reason. There's Vargoth. Behold! Okay, didn't kill it. Close to. Vectus, sure. And like with the previous game, we only get value on one of the whelps. Absolutely fine. This stops him pinging off the first body of the Colossus. And just generates a really scary board in its own right. It feels like we've done a good job of A, exhausting him of his resources, and B, just putting out massive threats he can't deal with. I'd completely forgotten about the Kazakus potion. And thank goodness it was not Mystic Wool. I mean, even if it was, we'd just play N'Zoth, but still. So, this is not lethal. Do I just want to play N'Zoth anyway? And get a couple of the scrapyards down on the board again? Or do I just want to push face and hero power the face, do as much damage as I can? Or do I want to kill Vargoth because he's scary? Or do I want to kill the giants? But to kill the giants, I've got to do a lot of trading. I'm taking the safe route. Taking the safe route. He's fatiguing.
No.
Okay. 2 scrapyards on the board. going to be really difficult to deal with. Oh, there's the Lich King. That's my Lich King. And this is interesting. Maybe he's hoping he can stall his way through this game. And somehow get enough value from what remains in his hand to sneak out some kind of a win.
Like a fungus we spread.
If I must.
And we can tank 8. Time Warp is gone. Death Grip into nothing. Oh dear. I refuse to feel sorry for my opponent, honestly.
Delightful.
Delightful indeed. Okay. So, Knoepklapper's Taunt Druid. Ladies and gentlemen, we managed to win against Secrets Mage and Quest Mage. That is a true initiation, a true test for this deck, and does indicate that it works pretty well. I can see problems against more aggressive decks that have more substantial boards very early on. So aggro Druid, for example, could be a problem for this deck. Yes, the deck does have Armor Gain, it does have Ferocious Howl, it does have Branching Paths, but sometimes that's just not enough, particularly with all of the heavy late game that you could draw early on and just not be able to play it without the ramp. That's how aggro could steamroll you. There is no Spreading Plague in this deck either. That's usually a good tool against aggro, but Spreading Plague has bad synergy with Hadronox, so I can see why it's not included. But overall, look, this is a really fun deck. 13,420 dust. Do think twice though before you craft cards in this deck. It's an off-meta deck. I think more fun than competitive, so it depends what your priorities are. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section below, and I'll ask Knoepklapper if he can respond to them. Thank you to Knoepklapper for the deck. It truly is appreciated. I've had so much fun playing this. Now, as the days go on, there will be more videos published looking at a range of other decks. Just to give you a bit of a preview, there will be Odd Mage, courtesy of Reno Jackson, Keith Numbers and his big Shaman deck, Hijo's Jade Druid, you know I love a bit of Jade Druid, and we're also going to be looking at Reno Hunter. That is a preview of things to come in the very near future. So until then, I wish you the best of luck on the Wild Mode ladder. If you have any deck suggestions based on decks that you're playing and having success with, feel free to leave deck codes in the comments section below and explain to me why you think your deck's fun and why it's effective, and maybe I'll give it a whirl. So until next time, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all again very soon for more Hearthstone fun.